we are deeply concerned about the allegations that Prime Minister Trudeau has raised. We have been consulting throughout very closely with our Canadian colleagues, and not just consulting, coordinating with them on this issue. From our perspective, it is critical that the Canadian investigation proceed, and it would be important that India work with the Canadians on this investigation. We want to see accountability, and it's important that the investigation run its course and lead to that result. I'm not going to characterize or otherwise speak to diplomatic conversations that we've been engaged directly with the Indian government as well. And again, I think the most productive thing that can happen now is to see this investigation move forward, be completed, and we would hope that our Indian friends would cooperate with that investigation as well. More broadly, and you've heard me speak to this, we are extremely vigilant about any instances of alleged transnational repression, something we take very, very seriously. And I think it's important more broadly for the international system that any country that might consider engaging in such acts not do so. So it's something that we're also focused on in a much broader way.
As soon as we heard from the Canadian Prime Minister publicly about the allegations, we went out publicly ourselves and expressed our deep concern about them, our support for a law enforcement process to get to the bottom of exactly what happened and to ensure that the perpetrators are held accountable. I'm not going to get into the substance of private diplomatic conversations, but we are in constant contact with our Canadian counterparts. We are consulting with them closely. We support the efforts that they are undertaking in this investigation, and we have also been in touch with the Indian government as well. And I will leave it at that for today, only to say that I have seen in the press some efforts to try to drive a wedge between the United States and Canada on this issue, and I firmly reject the idea that there is a wedge between the U.S. and Canada. We have deep concerns about the allegations, and we would like to see this investigation carried forward and the perpetrators held to account. That is what the United States has stood for from the moment this emerged in public, and we will continue to stand for that until this fully plays its way out.
So I know that National Security Advisor spoke to this yesterday, and I know there's been some new reporting. I don't have anything to certainly, and this is something that Jake said himself. He was not going to comment about private diplomatic conversations. I'm not going to do that either. Just following what the National Security Advisor said, and so just not going to comment on that. Obviously, we are deeply concerned, as he said as well, and so what the Prime Minister has referenced here, the Prime Minister of Canada, and so we remain in regular contact with the Canadian government and the Canadian partners. But of course, I'm just not going to comment on diplomatic conversations. So we have engaged, as Jake said, our National Security Advisor with the Indian government, but certainly we're not going to get into our private diplomatic conversations, as he said as well. But yes, there has been conversations with our partners in the Indian government, as Jake stated yesterday.